everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Like Me. I'm your host, Julie Fairhurst, and I want to thank you for being here. I'm really excited today. I have a fascinating lady, just fascinating, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll welcome her, and then we'll start to hear all about what she does and what she's all about. You just make sure you stay tuned for the whole thing because it is quite interesting. So I'm thrilled to welcome the extraordinary women to the Women Like Me podcast, Christina Flach. So, Christina is a renowned celebrity makeup artist, an entrepreneur, and the CEO and founder of Pretty Girl Makeup. She's also a vibrant host of the TV show I'm Too Busy TV, a dedicated mother and a powerful voice for women's entrepreneurship. So, welcome, Christina. Thank you so much for being here.
Julie, thanks for having me today.
Perfect. Why don't we start off by you telling us a little bit more about you?
I think you covered it pretty well. I'm also a beauty expert on NBC on California Live.
Wow.
Yes, I am the mother of five. I am also a philanthropist. I raise money for underprivileged children to go to school, private school that is basically run on grants and donation. So it's called the Northern Light School in Oakland, California. 90% of the kids that are there are on scholarship.
Wow.
And it's a remarkable school. The children leave there with it's K through it's preschool through eighth, and the kids leave there with scholarships to high schools, and then they go on to college. We have a 92% success rate of our students getting degrees from college. So I'm very proud of that.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, well, why don't I start you off? So, what inspired you to start your journey as a makeup artist? Because I understand, I don't know if that's still what you do, but you did start as a makeup artist, I think, from what I read. And then now you, of course, branched into entrepreneurship.
I still am a makeup artist. And
You are.
yes, I am. I have three agents that represent me across the United States. I love it. I was going to not do it when I started my company. I thought I just wanted to be a CEO. And then I was sorely missing what I love. I am an artist at heart, and I'm kind of a gypsy. I like to be in different places all the time and work with different teams. So being a makeup artist is, I love it so much. I get to meet extraordinary people. And that kind of segued me getting my own show called I'm Too Busy, because I always thought, my gosh, I get these people all to myself, like sometimes for an hour, sometimes for an entire day or more, when I work with these different people. And there's a whole slew of ranges of their work. It's not just people on TV. It's sports people. It is politicians. It's news people. It's entrepreneurs. I have a lot of tech people. I had the founder last week of the CEO and founder of Robinhood. Um, so he was super interesting. You know, he's a tech billionaire, nicest guy, met his wife and kids. And, so I love to do that. I mean, I did an ad for a company called, I was with them for 2 days. We did a catalog for their spring for Von Muir. It's a department store in the Midwest. And so the catalog's been coming up. So I still get that feeling of satisfaction and that I love when I see my work, in print.
Wow.
Besides, it just, being sitting in an office all day gets rather monotonous,
For sure. Totally get
right?
that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that. Yeah. So I believe in moments. I do a lot with stories for women, and I find that in every story there's a moment that either they went one direction or the other. And so can you tell me what was your defining moment when you realized that your passion had become your purpose?
Well, I think it started with my mother, who I mentioned earlier is
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yes.
Um, my mom was diagnosed with brain cancer when I was 8 years old. So
Oh,
when I was and she had a 1% chance to live 1 year, and she miraculously lived for 12. But I remember one night, I think I was like 14 or so, and she was going out to dinner with my father, and she had lost her hair. My mother was incredibly beautiful. But, with chemo and radiation, especially back then, it was so much worse than it is now. So I just said, "Oh, mom, let me do your makeup for your date." And so she didn't have a lot of makeup, and I had very minimal skills, but we managed to make her look and feel like her normal self.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things that has stuck with me all these years is how I can make someone feel different, with doing what I waving my little makeup brush wand and making
Yeah,
them look like the best versions of themselves. So I always knew that that was something that made me feel really good. And but I didn't know it was even a job in life. And
right.
then as I got older, I started doing friends and family and proms and weddings. And then I worked with photographers. And then I got enough images together to someone said, "Oh, do you have an agent?" I thought only like movie stars had agents. I didn't know makeup artists did.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I got my first agents. I was signed with Ford, New York, Miami, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, and I'm back with them actually. I'm also with Zenobia artists and Brandy Moore artists in San Francisco. So I am very blessed to get to work with all these amazing people. It's so much fun.
Wow. I just love the look where it's led from, helping your mom to look beautiful when she's ill, and then, our paths. We just never know where our paths are going to lead us.
No, we really don't. And I think
Oh,
that's what I've learned, especially, I became the on air beauty expert for California Live NBC, which is a show that's on every day in California. It's actually all West Coast. So it's on in every market in California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington. And I'm always much more comfortable behind the camera, not in front. But my friend, my TV husband, Berlin Fisher, he called me and said, "Hey, I would like you to take my place because I'm going to become one of the hosts." And I go, "I can't do that." And he goes, "Okay, first of all, this is what you know. You don't even have to think. And number two, you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable." So that when you just mentioned when was a pivotal moment, that was a pivotal moment for my career
yes.
because at that moment, I took a leap of faith. I just said, "Okay, I'll do it," even though I was trembling and scared.
Yeah.
But I had him with me, so it made me much more comfortable. And that has given me so much confidence speaking publicly
Mhm.
in front of a camera, which led to me having my own show called I'm Too Busy, where I get to interview, all kinds of interesting people that I meet.
Yeah.
So you
Wow.
don't know where these paths are going to lead. And I often speak about failure. I don't believe in failure. I believe in learning lessons. I believe that the universe is constantly protecting us. And sometimes when something doesn't happen, we think, "Oh, that happened to me." No, it happened for you. So
Yes.
sometimes you need to take a left instead of a right
Mhm.
because it's going to lead you somewhere fantastic. I had no idea how much joy it would bring me interviewing people.
Yeah.
I have a live show every Wednesday, and now I've started doing, interviews like what we're doing on a Zoom, and then I send
Yeah.
it to my producer to edit it. But I didn't realize how much I enjoyed writing. That's another thing that I do. I write for magazines. Um, so I write about beauty and wellness, and it's not just about makeup for me. It's about, you know, how you feel on the inside. And I obviously it's about being positive and all the good things
Yes.
that we do, but it's also about nutrition. I am fanatical about nutrition. I love how food can make us feel like better versions of ourselves, which
Yes.
makes our skin look better, which makes us feel better, which makes us have more confidence when we're in front of people. So
Yes.
it's more than just about
Yeah.
painting on some colors on our face.
Wow. Well, I think you touched on this, but I'd like to ask you, I don't know if you can go into more depth. So, how do you see the connection between makeup and empowerment for women?
Look, we are all visual people. And I get so tired of hearing people saying, "Oh, makeup's so superficial." Well, don't you take pride in your work? Don't you do your best at work? Don't you go into a meeting dressed properly? Why wouldn't you want your face to look the best it can look?
Uh,
I also feel that it makes you feel like, especially, I know this because of people I work with on TV. They feel very distracted if they're not looking the way they're comfortable looking. So why wouldn't I go into a meeting looking and feeling like my absolute best? I just
Absolutely.
think if you take pride in yourself, it's your entire being.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what advice then would you give to a woman who might be struggling with their self-image or their confidence, or both?
Well, we all do.
Yes,
right?
yes, we,
At
yes, we
some point
do.
in time,
Yes, we,
we all do.
yes.
Believe me, today I was scrambling to get myself put together and I had to hire myself before I came and connect with you. Because that's one thing that's hard with this job. I can't really get in front of a screen and talk about beauty and wellness if I'm looking disheveled mess.
No, for sure.
So okay, so what would I do? The first thing I would do, I think exercise is really important. Is are you eating and when I still do consultations with clients and we talk about exercise, meditation, I talk about sleep. It's so incredibly important. We don't get enough of it. What are you eating? How much water are you drinking? Are you having green juice during the day? What's your diet look like? So
Right.
when I start with those things, which leads to exercise, I think that exercise and nutrition as well, it is something that we do every day. It's not just its consistency is so monstrous. You don't need to do a huge long workout. Yesterday I did a really hard hour-long yoga class. Well, today I didn't have that much time, so I have a gym in my house. I was on the bike for 10 minutes. I did the elliptical for 10 minutes and I lifted some weights and did some Pilates. So I was done in 20 minutes. But that makes me feel good about myself. And it also
Right.
makes me not have that awful guilt that we all have when we don't do our exercise.
Yes. Yeah. Guilt is such a useless emotion,
Ah,
but it's dangerous.
it's the worst.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
absolutely the
It
worst. So
is for sure.
I would talk to people about that. Like how are you feeling? Are you doing all those things with your
Yeah.
food and your drinking, and are you getting enough rest? Are you exercising? Are you feeling good about that? And updating your look, I think, is a great thing to do. I get a lot of people contacting me going, okay, I've been doing my makeup. I'm 60 years old. I'm doing my makeup the same as when I was 17 and it looks absurd.
Right.
Please give me a new update. And so sometimes I go through their makeup, I go through their brushes and see what they have, what they don't have, what are they using. I try to give them a simple makeup routine that they can get ready in 5 to 10 minutes. Filling in your brows, concealer, foundation, sunscreen, skincare is huge. Taking care of your skin is a monster
Yes. Oh, for
thing.
sure. Yes. So, so along with that, then I'm just curious. So, in a world of social media and filters and perfection, how can we encourage women to still show up as their true selves?
I think that people just need to know that all that fun stuff we look at on TikTok and Instagram, it's all illusions and it's all what they're putting out there to show you. They're
Yeah.
not showing you what they look like without their makeup on.
Right.
Just remind them that this is a form of entertainment. It's not real. And so I think it's just super important to not focus on all those filters and everything because, you can look extraordinary with all those things, but that's not real. So if you're feeling good about yourself, you're not worrying about all that noise,
Right.
that's going on in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's good advice. Thank you for that. So let me ask you, when you were building pretty girl makeup, what was your biggest challenge that you had to overcome?
Being self-funded,
Oh, yes.
for sure. I didn't have a business plan. I had an American Express card and I just did it like that. It was very different. I mean, I started Pretty Girl in 1999. It was a million years ago in the beauty
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And it was very different. There was no Instagram, Facebook. It was celebrities, publicists, stylists, and agents. And that's what you dealt with. And it was very different. It was you could I remember I would send things to celebrities and they would be kind enough to put it on or recommend it and people would do that. There was no influencers. You didn't have to pay them like now. So the
Right.
beauty industry's changed considerably in the last 20 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I was around in 1999, so I remember. I remember. Yeah. So what advice would you give to a woman who wants to start a business, but she's afraid to take the leap?
I would okay, let's just say she has a corporate job,
Yeah, okay.
okay? And she can't afford to quit her corporate job because most people can't. I would start doing it part-time. I would maybe do it part-time. I would do it on the weekends and figure out if you really love it and get it going to the point that you can quit your 9 to 5 job. But I just think, you know, You have to love what you do so much that you do it for free and then figure out how to get paid.
Right.
Super important. And,
Yeah.
don't talk about it, just do it.
Yes.
Nothing frustrates me more than people sit and complain, oh, I hate my job. I don't love my relationship. I don't like where I live. Then do something about it. Do
Yes.
one little thing every day to make your life, create the life that you want. I have created the life that I want. And trust me, I've had bumps along the way,
Mhm.
but I've always had my career that has brought me joy and purpose. And I've been able to work really hard to become pretty successful doing what
Yeah.
I do.
Yes. You mentioned to go do it for free and then get into where you actually are going to charge out or make money in it. So I know quite a few ladies out in my area that are similar. They have full-time jobs, but they've got their side gig, they call it, and or their passion, and they're working it, but they're working it and working it and working it, but with limited results. Do you have any advice then? How did you go from doing it for free and then making money and getting paid?
I hustled.
Yeah,
I worked my butt off. And I also, you know what?
yeah.
I was always, I always asked people that were more successful than I was,
Hmm.
what are you doing? Like, how do you do that? How do I get to that? So ask for help. People are so willing to help if you just ask.
Yeah,
Don't let your pride get in the way. Find someone that you aspire to. Send them an email, give them a call. People, I find, I mean, I get people contacting me all the time and I always respond. I kind of think it's part of the deal when you become successful that to help other people. And I tell them, for example, if someone wants to be a makeup artist, I tell them what they need to do. They need to have their own makeup kit. They can't have any of their personal things in it. They have to keep it incredibly clean. They need to, go shadow a working makeup artist. See if you even like it. You may not like it. People think that my world is so glamorous. And yes, it is sometimes,
yes.
but when I have to wake up at 4 o'clock to be in with a client at 7, and be on my feet for 12 hours, it's exhausting.
Yeah,
And it's not easy. And you have to, be really on your toes and be focused on your client. It's not
yeah,
about you, it's about the client. So
yeah.
you have to figure out if you really like this job because it may sound like, oh, it's so fun. You play with makeup all day. It's not like yes, it is, but it's so much more than that.
Well, it's also people looking when you're successful, because I've been through that, and then people look at you and they don't see. It's like that iceberg thing, right? They see the iceberg, but they don't see all the other stuff going on below the iceberg to try to build up the business. And so it successful people, I think, make it look easy because we're sort of, you're in a flow somewhat, but they don't
Right.
see, like you're exactly, they don't see that getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I loved what you said about hustle because I'm with you. That I think that's the only way to do it. If you've got a full-time job and you're working 8 hours a day, you only have so much time. And so when you're
It's
working
true.
on your passion, and if it's your passion, you need to really hustle to
You
get it.
do. I mean, like, for example, with my makeup career, I constantly have to be posting um, on Instagram. And now we've added, I'm too busy. So now we have 3 Instagrams, and my assistant does Pretty Girl, and she does I'm Too Busy, but I do Christina Flach. So we have 3 Instagrams, which means Facebook, which means LinkedIn, which means Yelp here in the States. Um, my portfolio has to be constantly updated. I also have to get images to my agents, all 3 of them, all the time. I
Yeah,
have to be scouring the internet for projects that I've done to
yeah,
get images to do it because
yeah.
they don't send them to you. So let's say I did a job not too long ago with an Italian hair care brand. They're not sending me any of the images. I have to, figure out how to get them. I
Yes.
have to Google my client. So it's so much more than you can even imagine. And then, like, if with the TV show, I am so blessed. My assistant Maya does a basic script with questions, and then I study. I Google the person, I study them, I look at interviews they've done in the past, and then I come up with more in-depth questions.
Hmm.
And doing a live interview is very different than doing what you and I are doing right now. This is
Yes.
super relaxed. Like I'm
Yes.
talking to you like my girlfriend. You're
Yes.
Canadian. You're probably one of
Yes.
my cousins. It's super great. But
Yeah.
when I'm,
Yeah.
but when I do my show on Wednesdays or NBC, if I make a mistake, I, there's no stopping it. It's like it's so intense and so much pressure. Like I can't even tell you. It's very, um, it's once it's done, it's like, oh, it's such a relief, and it's kind of a high when it's flowing, you're going well, but when it's not, it's very stressful. I had a live interview not too long ago, and the woman's Wi-Fi went out. And I had to just very gracefully say, okay, we're going to take a commercial break and we'll be right back. I'm Christina Flach and I'm too busy, and go from there. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, one time I was on NBC and we were doing a thing for Halloween, and I had to do three women's makeup. And I oftentimes will say, oh, yeah, I can do that, even though it's not really my strength. I am not a makeup artist that does Halloween makeup very well. I mean, I can do it
Yeah.
fine, but I need time. So, one of them didn't turn out perfectly the way I wanted. We had to travel to San Francisco and I'm trying to get everyone ready. It was very stressful. It wasn't my best episode. And I had to just acknowledge like what my lesson there was. I can't take a bite off more than I can chew.
Uh,
I have to put up a boundary that I'm always trying to make everyone happy.
yes.
And so I will say, like, oh, yeah, yeah, I can do three people, no problem. Well, I need to
Yeah.
say, no, I can do two. And I need this much time. So I
Yes.
think that's another thing for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Be realistic about what your strengths are,
Mm,
what you need help with. Ask for help. Don't waste your time micromanaging your team if you're blessed enough to have a team. you
yeah.
know i give I send Avery, my other assistant, she does all my stuff for my website and my TV show. I just send her everything and I let her do it whichever way she wants. I let her do what she knows how to do really well because I don't know how to do it.
Exactly.
So it's,
Yeah.
a lot of CEOs have a hard time learning to not micromanage and give people the
Mm,
respect to do what they do.
yes. No, absolutely. It's such a good lesson because I think so many of us we hold on to control or we want that control, but sometimes we just need to let it go and let the people who know what they're doing do their job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let me ask you, I know we're getting down on our time, so I want to just fit in a couple of other things here. Your foundation. You mentioned your foundation. So I would just like it if you could you tell us about your foundation?
I have educational funds set up at the Northern Light School for my son, Bo, who passed away when he was four
Oh,
and a half months old on Christmas Day. And
oh,
one for my husband, Ken Flach, who was a professional tennis player. He passed away from sepsis 7 years ago. And so the Northern Light School in Oakland, California is just this remarkable school where these kids and these teachers are just extraordinary. And they come from not the most fantastic um, backgrounds, but
mhm.
they all have this, you know, hunger to learn and to have better lives. And Michelle Lewis is the mistress there, and she does an amazing job. And I do everything I can to help raise money. My son Ben, who was Bo's twin, uh, he has raised almost $200,000 in the last 7 years
Wow.
for the fund, for the Educational Foundation, and playing golf. All my kids have contributed with their time and efforts for the school, and it makes me really proud. I just feel that we're, as a family, super blessed,
Mhm.
and I want other people to have the same educational experiences that my children have had.
I love it. Love it. It's so important to give back.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Christina, can I ask you my five favorite questions that I ask
Oh,
my
please
guests?
do.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Okay, so I just want to get to know you a little bit better. So
Okay.
what is a favorite book that inspires you in your business or life?
I love The Four Agreements.
Oh,
Do you know that book?
I've heard of it. I've not read it.
Yes. So the four agreements are: one is do your personal best, one is not to take things personally, One is to not make assumptions. And what is the fourth one? I can't remember right now. But it's something like that. It's very helpful when you're dealing with things, the four
Perfect.
agreements. Yeah.
Excellent. And now, if you could have dinner with any woman in the world in history, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. That's such a good question. And how, like, why is Marie Antoinette coming to mind?
Ah,
I, I'm a big historical fiction person, so I would like to go back in time. Anne Boleyn, perhaps.
ah,
Yeah.
yeah. Both excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. I would love that. Okay. What is your favorite way to unwind after a busy day?
I love to go for a walk before dinner. I love to get a massage. I love self-care. It's great.
Yeah,
I like to spend time with my family, with my guy, go for dinner, watch some TV.
yeah. Just relax.
Yes.
Yeah,
Read my book, take a bath.
yeah. Perfect. And do you have a favorite motivational quote that keeps you going?
Focus on, oh gosh, there is one. It's hard to keep. It's a Babe Ruth, and it's hard to
Oh, I've heard that Babe Ruth
yeah,
one.
it's hard to
Oh, I have.
stop someone. It's
Yeah,
hard to stop someone that is just relentless, pretty much is what it is.
yeah,
But that's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Perfect. Okay. And if you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go and why?
Well, I'm going to Greece on Friday with one of my best friends. I am godmother to her children, and we are going for 10 days. We are going to Greece to go to a yoga retreat, which I've never taken that much time off. Um, and I've never been to Greece. So that is something that I'm going to do.
Wow.
But probably I would normally say Italy. That would be somewhere I would like to go.
Yeah,
I love the food. I love Italians. My guy's Italian, he's Sicilian. So
yeah.
Sicily probably. Yeah.
Nice. Well, enjoy yourself in Greece.
Thank
That
you.
sounds great. 10 days. Wow.
It
Wow.
does. However, it's winter there. I thought it was always warm, like Santorini,
Oh,
like you see.
yeah.
I looked at the weather and it's like 58 and raining. So I'm like,
Oh,
oh, but it's
oh. Well,
all going to be fantastic.
it'll be fantastic. That's right.
Yes.
And I have one final question for you.
Yes.
If you could whisper one truth into the ear of every woman who's struggling right now, what would you say?
You are so much more loved than you know.
Oh my God. Oh, oh, that's beautiful. Oh, love it. Oh, thank you
I
so
know
much.
that one makes me cry.
Oh, I know, I can feel it. I'm like, I could feel my eyes getting a little warm there. That is beautiful. Thank you for that. So, Christina, it was just a joy to meet
Oh, thank you
and
so
have you
much.
on the show. I'm sure
This was
that all
fun.
of our,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I'm sure all our listeners and watchers on YouTube are we're almost all women, so I'm sure that they're going to find this very, very helpful to them.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I am very grateful for being here, and this was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thanks again, everyone, for being here. And don't hesitate to check out the detail section. We'll get as much information about Christina in there as we can, and where you can certainly find her if you'd like to connect with her more. So thanks again for being here, everyone.